We hope that you're doing well. It is a beautiful day here in Western New York. The sun is out, and I'm wearing shorts, uh, and that is amazing. We wanted to do something a little special today. We just heard from Pastor A just about an hour and a half ago. Instead of paraphrasing, we're actually going to play the whole message, and Bria is going to translate.
Why don't we do that at the end so
You
more
wanna do
people?
it at the end?
Because usually as we stream, more people join in.
Okay.
So
Okay, we'll do that part at the end. But we're just really grateful for you guys joining us. Pastor Z just wrote to us. I didn't know if you were. This is live.
Yeah.
So he just wrote it like 10 seconds ago. So why don't you share, hon?
yeah, I can share with you what Pastor Z wrote an update about the woman who was in the basement of a building who, I think it was yesterday we shared about her that she had gone into labor during the night, but there's a curfew by the Russian occupiers, and they will literally shoot you on sight if you are outside.
The curfew time?
If you're outside during the hours of curfew. So she went in, so this young woman goes into labor and she can't go to the hospital because it's too dangerous. She could very well be shot if she goes outside. So they just started praying. They contacted Pastor Z to let him know the situation and asked them all to start praying that God would just slow down her labor. Did I tell this story or did I not?
You told it to me this morning.
Okay, maybe it's just this morning. I'm getting all the days mixed up.
I don't think that you told me.
So that was the situation. Everyone was praying that God would just slow down the labor. Her water had already broken, and He did. Praise the Lord. So her labor slowed down, and once curfew ended in the morning, they were able to get her to the hospital. And he just wrote and sent an update and said, we actually know her. The last time we were in Ukraine, we spoke at a couples like Bible study, and he says she was one of the young women.
Wow.
In there. So she gave birth to a little girl, and they're both doing well. Today they released her from the hospital. We went. All of our church went to greet her as she left the hospital, and it was very joyful, and we were able to laugh a lot together and pray. We wanted to, in this way, just support mom and baby, and it seems like we were able to. The people around us that we didn't know were very shocked and said that it's been so long since they've heard anyone laughing or since they've seen joy on the streets of their city. And nearby there was standing some of the Russian forces, but we stood there anyways, even though we understood it was a great risk. But we wanted to celebrate the birth of this new baby. Praise the Lord. And then after lunch, we drove around and we were able to find diapers for her. Right now it's impossible to find newborn diapers, but we were able to find them. And so they will be very useful right now for this family. So this is the good things that happen during war. Joy even in the midst of tears. Even when there's tears all around, there's still joy. Thank you for praying and for all of your support. We need it here like we need air. And so we go forward.
Is there a picture of the baby up above?
I
think he sent it to us.
I don't know if we'll be able to show anything. I can maybe show y'all this picture. I'll just cover up the mom's face, but there's the little baby that was born. They didn't say what the family named her, but yeah.
Little munchkin.
New little girl.
When they had us there, they were like, tell us what it's like to be newlyweds. And we're like, that was so funny. We were totally put on the spot.
Yeah, they
but
were
we
so
worshiped
sweet.
God. We sang in English and sang in Ukrainian and laughed a lot. And so Pastor Z attached some video and stuff. So if we're able to show maybe some of that in a day or so, maybe we'll be able to do that. We're still trying to be really careful with that stuff. Their security is easily compromised. So, do you want to do Pastor A stuff now?
Sure. Is there anything else that you wanted to update on today?
No, I think that what you guys need to also realize, and I had written this on the paper for yesterday, is if you go on the comments of Bria's social media, because she has become more active and working against some of the propaganda machine of Russia, you will notice that there are
Well, they might.
comments.
There aren't a lot because I
you
report them and
you report them.
delete them and block
Okay.
them.
My wife knows much about Russian bots, and
It's just very interesting. In the past couple of days, if you're on my social media, I posted about that news broadcast protest that happened. There's a lot of evidence pointing to it either being a complete fake or it being like deliberately released by Russia. One of the biggest pieces of evidence in that is that Russia is an authoritarian state. It's an authoritarian regime, which means the government controls everything, especially media, because the media is so important in them pushing the propaganda that they want to push to their people. So there are no live broadcasts in Russia or China or North Korea or any of those types of countries. So that broadcast, there's no way that was live. If it was live, quote, then it's on a delay where they are able to stop it and edit things out that they don't want in there. So even if the protester was legit, which there are also evidences that point to that not being the case, but let's just say she was, there's a reason that Russia allowed that to be released. And it goes into this whole psychological warfare that I have a hard time wrapping my mind around because my brain just doesn't think like that. But there's, on my social media, there's an article by The Guardian that I posted that was actually written numerous years ago
2015.
about the Russian propaganda psychological warfare machine and how they work and how they operate and what their goal ultimately is. And if you read that article, it's kind of long, but it's incredibly eye-opening. And if you read that article and then look at this news protest that supposedly happened, it makes a lot more sense of why that would be fake and why Russia would want to put that out there. Anyways, all that to say, so a few days ago, I started posting about Russian propaganda, and it's so interesting that on both my Facebook and my Instagram, as soon as I started posting about Russian propaganda, all of these Russian trolls started showing up on my social media.
They used to, right?
They would occasionally, but never like this.
Okay. We're witnessing history here.
So I was like, well, if anything else, they're just proving my point, because they wouldn't need to come in and try to attack if there wasn't something to what I'm saying, or not me, but like what everyone's saying about Russian propaganda. So that just brings me back to, like I've said before in these videos, just be careful about who you listen to, even on news media. just to be very honest with you, I've always been much more conservative leaning. I've always voted Republican. I've been incredibly disappointed with conservative media in America. The only inaccurate things that I have heard said about Ukraine and the situation in Ukraine have come from Fox News and certain conservative talking heads, such as Candace Owens, and some other ones that I've seen on YouTube. So I've been really shocked and very confused by that, and I'm not really exactly sure what their end game is in trying to dissuade people from supporting the Ukrainian people. It's very confusing. But all that to say, like we've said in the past, if you have access to more neutral news reporting like BBC, what's some of the other ones you use?
Radio Free Europe, I read that. Polygraph.io is sort of a fact site. And I'll say, we're not talking about every piece of news that ever exists. We're talking about this specific arena as far as the Russian invasion of Ukraine. So just so we're contextual about that.
Yeah, and it's not the news, it's more the commentary.
Right.
The news, if they're showing direct video footage out of Ukraine, if they're talking to people in Ukraine, you can pretty much guarantee that's trustworthy because that's coming from the source. But it's when they go into their commentary, the things that they're saying in commentary are not always balanced or fair or true. So yeah, just be careful who you're listening to and who you're believing and who you're repeating.
Yeah, that was good, hon.
One more thing, the Freedom for Ukraine Trident sweatshirts and t-shirts, or hoodies, they're not, some people have asked, this is a sweatshirt that the printer printed up for me just as a sample, but we're not able to order them because of supply chain issues, because of COVID and all of that whole ripple effect. So unfortunately, we don't have the crew necks available, but there are black and white hoodies and black and white t-shirts. But obviously the point is not the clothing. The point is the money that's going to Ukraine. So 100% of the profits from the sale of the hoodies and the t-shirts are going to our people that we tell you about on these updates in Ukraine, who are trying to survive, trying to help other people survive. So yeah, check out my social media for the links to the store of where you can get a hoodie or a t-shirt, and it's a great way to represent Ukraine in your communities. And when your friends ask you, hey, what is that? You can be like, hey, this is the Trident of Ukraine, and it is the symbol of freedom, and it actually has the Ukrainian word for freedom in it. So yeah, the store is only open till March 26th, so make sure you get your orders in before then. And after March 26th, all the orders will be printed and shipped out.
Way to go, honey. You do this for a living. What we do want to share, one of the guys that we are supporting, I just thought it was really important, and I shared with Bria, I want you to just share his message. And so it's a few minutes long, but this is from the source. We've done a lot of paraphrasing, and Pastor Z said this, Pastor A said this, but this particular message, which is a few minutes long, I wanted Bria to speak and be able to translate it as best as she can. Obviously, it's not quote word for word, but it is a direct translation of what he is dealing with right now. And so I'm going to have her do that. We turned his sound down, obviously, a little bit, but you'll hear his voice, and then Bria's going to translate. And so this is what his life is right now.
And he, so this is one of the people, when you send donations to me and Jesse, or when you buy one of these Freedom for Ukraine Trident shirts, This is one of the pastors that your money is going to help. He says, I'm going to speak in Ukrainian and Bria can translate. Right now, it's very difficult because thousands of cars from Mariupol have come into our city. People are trying to find places to stay. They're sleeping in basements, in bomb shelters. Some of the people in our town are taking people into their one-bedroom, two-bedroom apartments but nobody has heat. There isn't heat in the city, so it's cold everywhere. We've lost electricity again. My home, we have a wood-burning stove, so we have heat, but we don't have electricity. We were able to get something cooked before we lost electricity, so we were able to eat. And today we were able to buy a lot of sausage. Our meat factory in town is still working, but the prices have shot sky high. I bought this sausage for 150 hryvnia per kilo. That's about $5 per kilo, but that's about 15 times higher than it would have been usually. But at least we have something. Today, we took in a few families into our home. 3 families. They arrived at 4 o'clock at night. I haven't slept now for 2 nights because all night, every night, people are calling me saying, someone's heading your way, someone needs a place to stay. Can you meet them? Can you pick them up? Can you find a place for them? Some people I have to put in bomb shelters. Some people were able to put in our church building. I put them wherever I can find room for them. We've had believers come to us, non-believers. Just had this moment where we had 3 cars arrive to our church. I don't know how they found us. Somebody tells them about us and they came, and I made places for them where they could sleep. We gave them food. We gave them blankets because their church is cold. We found a small heater. And one of the women saw a Bible and said, oh, do you mind if I take this and read it? And I said, of course. And she said, you would give me one of your Bibles? And I said, yeah, sure. We're Christians and we're trying to help people as much as we can. And we started having a conversation, and I went and I got 15 brand new Bibles, and I put them down and I said, anyone who wants one, who's interested, feel free to take one. And everybody took one and just said, we want to take one of these to remember you and to remember such good people. Thank you so much. And I saw how they were opening the Bibles and starting to read, and one of the women from our church started working with them and helping them, and praise the Lord that He gives us opportunity and that people are helping one another, and it's amazing to watch. Thank you so much that you are with us in this, that you support us. If not for you, I don't even know what we would do right now. Thank you so much. May God bless you, that you are helping us in this. May God give you peace so that nothing like this would ever happen to you. It's horrible. It's the stories that we hear from people. It's just hard not to break down and cry. Just hell. How bodies just lie on the street. Nobody picks them up. A man saw someone explode in front of his eyes by a rocket, and they just sit and cry. May God give all of us peace. Thank you so much for being with us. May God bless you. Thank you so much.
So that's Pastor A. Those are the kind of messages that Bria and I are getting on a daily basis. That was a little longer. Usually they're a little shorter, but we wanted to share that one with you as best as we can. That he and his family, they are pouring themselves out for the sake of people. And a lot of these people, as you've read in the news, there is some sort of corridor coming out of Mariupol and moving west. And those people are in various states of shock, PTSD. They're catatonic. They are injured. They haven't eaten in days. They're freezing. They haven't had any regular toilets. They are completely broken. And Pastor A and his people, they are just doing unbelievable, superhuman type things. And it's day in and day out. And this is Russian occupied territory. What he is doing, he is not supposed to be doing. And yet God has given him the way, the resources. Same with Pastor Z. It is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
I wanted to, one more comment. We got an amazing picture of Pastor V. And Pastor V and Pastor Z, they are two peas in a pod. They took Bria to the front lines for the last 9 years or so, 8 years. And they took care of my now wife for 9 years before I even knew her. And Pastor V enlisted in the Army, and you've heard our updates since he's now 65, but he actually injured himself in weapons training. Who would have known that you would get injured at 65 doing weapons training? But he is in the hospital, and he took a picture of himself this morning and just explained that there's one young man who is about to be married, and he has shrapnel in his spine.
I can read his
yes, please, because I don't want to speculate.
So this morning we woke up to Pastor V's picture of himself in the hospital, and he wrote, "Hi friends, I'm in the hospital in the trauma ward. I have an issue with my leg. Here in the hospital room with me are wounded soldiers. Near to where my group was stationed, a Russian missile fell and hit our soldiers. There are dead, but there are also those who lived, but they are badly injured. One soldier who's in the bed next to me was supposed to get married, but his spine was injured. They're going to do an operation soon. His fiance is by his side constantly. They're very young. They just brought in another soldier. His legs are gone. I have my leg was traumatized, was injured. It happened during training. Right now they're running tests. They've already done an x-ray and a CAT scan, and after lunch they're supposed to do an MRT. I don't know what that is in English. Another scan.
I know MRIs, but
for now they're giving me different injections and what do you call the thing that you're hooked up to?
An
IV. Thank you for your prayers.
Well, we're almost at 25 minutes, but is there anything else you wanted to say?
I don't think so. I think that's
guys.
it for today.
Thank you for supporting us so we can support them. We wanted to give you
Yeah.
These are the first-hand accounts. We've been able to send some money to Pastor V's wife, um, also because she doesn't have a job, and she's trying to figure out what to do. So we sent a little money to her. We've been trying to be as discerning and diligent as we possibly can with the money that you guys are sending in. So thank you so much for trusting us with that. It is our honor
Yeah.
to love these people and to help them, and they are only alive because we're doing what we're doing. I know that sounds like a bad infomercial or something, but Pastor A, he said it, didn't know where he would be without us doing what we're doing. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Just to give y'all an idea, I don't know how much y'all have donated this far.
I have the audit.
Do you know
I'm gonna do
where it is?
I don't want to even speculate. I'm working on the sort of the cash flow audit this weekend.
But we're, just so you understand, we're sending to our pastors in Ukraine, we're sending about at least $1,000 a day.
Yeah, it's about $1,000 a day. Sometimes it's not every day if the account gets low, so then it's every other day.
Yeah, but I was gonna talk about that it's incredible that the donations, like what the money that we had that you'd been sending in was getting low, and we were seeing that we were sending out this money every day because they're spending it on buying food for people and filling up their cars with gas so they can drive people over the border and all this stuff. So we're sending them all this money, and we're seeing that the balance is getting low, and I'm thinking, God, what are we going to do? This isn't going to end anytime soon, even if, God willing, the invasion stopped today. There's still going to be such a need for such a long time. Where are we going to keep getting funds for these people that we love, that we know, to help them? And right after that, one church called and said, hey, we want to send $10,000 to your pastors. And another church called and said, hey, we have $10,000 for your pastors. And I was just like, I have nothing to worry about. God loves these people so much more than I do, and he's going to take care of them. But you're a part of that, and every dollar that you send, aside from transfer fees, which actually right now, MoneyGram that we use to transfer money to them has waived all fees, I guess, to Ukraine. So we're not even paying transfer fees now. So just the fees that are on like Venmo or PayPal. But that's the only thing that isn't going directly to our people. So thank you.
Okay, we're a mess. We love you. We are grateful. Thank you. Дуже дякую.
Thanks, y'all.